once this printer went into maintenance mode, it did not want to print white. This is the only thing that got the white back. So, hey guys, it's Melissa. In this video, we are going to try to troubleshoot white. Now, this is basically the second part of a video. As I previously explained, I have already had to replace the print head in my EufyMake E1 because I was having trouble with the white printing. Once I replaced the print head, just to give you some background, the first test print printed correctly. White, as you can see here, was actually printing. Then several days went by, my machine went into maintenance mode. To bring it out of maintenance mode, I had to do the ink injection, and then I went to do a test print before I actually started printing again. And what do you know, 2 ink test prints and a cleaning in between. Now my white is back to not printing. This obviously has something to do with going into maintenance mode. So now we are here, and at this point we are trying to figure out how to get this fixed. I am basically recording this in real time so that you guys can see everything I went to. Now, I will say, the first step that I took after I did these 2 print tests, because now it's like, okay, that's not, the test print doesn't actually do anything except tell you, like, is it working correctly? We have established it is not. So what I did then is I came back to the EufyMake Studio, and this time I did a deep clean. Okay, so I clicked deep clean. It tells me it's going to take about 9 minutes. I did the deep clean. Okay, it's going to take about 9 minutes. The 9 minutes have passed. The deep clean has happened. I didn't record that part because that was literally all it was. And now I am going to print another test print. Now, before I do that, I'm going to do one additional step. I am going to take the white cartridge out of my machine. And I am going to shake it, because if you guys are familiar at all with white ink, whether it's for a DTF or a DTG or a UV printer, white settles. And so it basically gets the sediment gets down there. So I am just hoping that maybe this will help. Okay, we've already done the deep clean of the print head. So now let's just make sure that the maintenance fluid is not basically sitting at the bottom as a layer, kind of like oil and water separate. I don't know the physics or chemistry or whatever it is of how this works. I'm a crafter, right? I'm just trying to help us all out here. All right, so we've shaken this. We're going to put this back in, and now we are going to do our 3rd test print of the day. Since we've done the maintenance mode, I am telling you, I am now going on basically an hour since I just wanted to do a print. Eek! Okay, I've got my paper in there. Now we are going to go back into EufyMake Studio and do test print. Again, this takes about 4 to 6 minutes. Unfortunately, you can't just say only do the white. There is another step that we are going to do if this doesn't work, but I basically want to get a baseline for, did the deep clean it work in combination with shaking the ink? If it does not, what we are going to do is what several people you've probably heard several people doing, and that is to basically print a bunch of white strips to get the maintenance fluid out of there. Now, this is not why I printed these. This was printed a long time ago. This was basically to show, like, this is 1 layer of white, this is 2, this is like up to 6. Okay, you shouldn't have to do that. I actually have another photo I'll show you right here of immediately after I swapped out my print head and I did a couple of strips, two layers of white was plenty on white and clear. And then, like I said, now it's basically malfunctioning again after it went into maintenance mode. So let's see what happens with this test print, and fingers crossed this actually fixes it. Okay, this is the moment of truth, and we are going to look at this together. So remember, this is now the 3rd time in the last hour that I have done test prints. The first 2, the white was not printing. Okay. Hallelujah, it finally started printing again. So I don't know specifically if it was shaking the white or doing the deep clean or a combination of both, but I will tell you that once this printer went into maintenance mode, it did not want to print white. It did a regular clean in between. It did 2 other test prints. I tried multiple other things, as I showed you in the prior video, to this is the only thing that got the white back. So you saw me shaking the ink and you saw me do that deep clean, and finally the white is back. So if your EufyMake refuses to print white, first of all, you need to establish that it is not printing white correctly, because a lot of people don't even recognize that. If you are in that category and you just want to test like, hey, it's taking me like 5 or 6 layers of white in order to get white. Mine looks like a yellow, or it looks almost like a blue tinted. You need to do a test print to first establish, is it printing white? And if the answer is no, then you need to start troubleshooting. And fortunately for you, I now have a whole troubleshooting guide for you. First steps that you can do for doing the test print. Then you're going to do another test print, then you're going to do a deep clean and shake, then you're going to do another test print, and hopefully you will get to this result. And now, more than an hour after I started all of this, I am finally ready to print.